Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are tackling a topic that, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, is sort of constantly running in the background of, well, almost everyone's mind.
Hmm.
We are talking about success. We are talking about wealth.
That universal thing, right?
Yeah, that undeniable human itch to do better, be better, and, have a little bit more in the bank account.
It's the topic that truly never goes out of style. I mean, whether it's 1937 or 2026, people want to know how to bridge that gap between where they are and where they want to be.
Exactly. But here's the thing, and I think most of our listeners have felt this. We all sort of want the secret, right?
The magic pill?
Yeah, the magic pill or that one stock tip that changes everything overnight. But the source material we're looking at today suggests that it's not really a secret at all. It's more of a mindset.
A very specific one.
Yeah,
Very disciplined and sometimes, surprisingly gritty. It's all about how you operate your brain.
precisely. And to get to the bottom of this, we are analyzing a massive classic.
We really are.
We're looking at Napoleon Hill's seminal book, Think and Grow Rich. But we aren't just reading it cover to cover because, let's face it, that language from the 1930s can be a little dense.
A little bit, yeah. So we're looking at a specific breakdown of this text by a guy named R.J. Kartik, who really, he just pulls out the absolute nuggets, the actionable steps from Hill's work.
And I really appreciate how this source material frames the conversation, right off the bat. Because usually when you start talking about getting rich, there's this immediate cultural backlash.
Oh, for sure.
Money is the root of all evil, rich people are greedy, all that stuff. It's almost taboo to say you want to be wealthy.
Right. And R.J. Kartik, he addresses that head on.
Yeah.
He points out that while we have this programming, that money is a curse, if you actually look around at the world,
Yeah.
the people who have made significant positive changes in society, I'm talking philanthropists, innovators, the people building hospitals, they often have the resources to do so.
That is such a necessary reframe.
It is. The argument here is that wealth, when you use it correctly, is a tool. It's potential energy. It lets you help the people around you to drive progress, to, solve problems.
So the mission of this deep dive is to move past that guilt and really look at the how.
Exactly. How do thoughts actually translate into material reality?
So let's unpack this before we get into the step-by-step formula, and there's some really specific steps here. We have to talk about the credibility of this.
Yeah, where does this all come from?
Because I think a lot of people assume these kinds of books are just one guy sitting in a room, kind of guessing what works.
No, not in this case.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what gives Think and Grow Rich its staying power. Napoleon Hill wasn't just guessing.
Okay.
He started really young with a serious drive. He was what they called a boy reporter for the Mountain Reporter newspaper when he was just 13 years old.
13. I think at 13 I was mostly trying to figure out how to beat video games, not reporting on the news.
Well, that drive led him to a major, major turning point. He got the chance to interview Andrew Carnegie,
And for those who might not know, Carnegie was essentially the richest man in the world at the time.
a titan, a complete titan of the steel industry.
And this is where the story gets really cool. Carnegie doesn't just give him some puff piece interview.
No, he gives him a massive
A
challenge.
huge one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Carnegie told Hill, you interview well, but my story is just one data point. If you really want to understand success, you need a bigger sample size.
So he challenged him to interview 500 successful people.
500. The goal was to find the common habits of success, to find the pattern in all the chaos.
And we aren't talking about just anyone. The list he compiled is, it's insane. Alexander Graham Bell, Henry Ford.
Thomas Edison,
Hmm.
the heavy hitters of the Industrial Revolution.
So Think and Grow Rich isn't just Hill's opinion. It's basically a 20-year data analysis project
That is the perfect way to describe it. It's a synthesis.
of the most successful people of that era.
And he'll boil all that data down to 13 steps. Now, for our deep dive today, based on R.J. Kartik's analysis, we are going to focus on the 7 most critical ones.
The ones that really move the needle. Okay, let's jump in. Step 1. The source calls this the baby step, which I think is funny because it honestly feels like the hardest one.
It kind of is.
It's all about desire, but we aren't talking about, I kind of want a sandwich desire.
Right. R.J. Kartik makes a very sharp distinction here. Everyone has wishes. You wish for a better car, you wish for a vacation, you wish you had $1 million.
That's just a casual thought. It's passive.
Exactly. What Hill is talking about is a burning desire.
A burning desire. It sounds intense.
It is meant to be. It's the thought that consumes you. It's the one thing constantly running in the background of your mind, whether you're in the shower, driving to work, or falling asleep. It's an obsession.
Okay, so how do we go from a wish to a burning desire? Because I can't just snap my fingers and become obsessed.
Well, the source gives us a very practical four-step framework to actually manufacture this desire. It's surprisingly specific.
Lay it on us.
Okay, step one. Fix the exact amount of money you want. Not, I want to be rich, but I want exactly $100,000 or whatever your number is.
Precision matters.
It really does,
Yeah.
to the brain.
Yep.
Step two. Fix the exact date by which you want it. A goal without a deadline is just a dream, right? You need to create urgency.
It makes it real. It puts you on the clock.
It does. Step three. Create a definite plan and write it down. You have to take it out of your head and put it into the physical world.
Okay.
And step four, and this is the kicker that people often skip, read this written statement twice daily,
Twice a day, like out loud.
out loud, morning and night. The idea is to convert that written plan into a burning desire by constantly feeding it to your subconscious. You have to keep the fire lit.
It's essentially self-hypnosis. You're programming your brain to spot opportunities.
That's a great way to put it. You're focusing your attention so intensely that your brain starts filtering the world differently.
No, the source material shares a story here that I found incredibly moving. It's about Hill's own son, Blair.
Yes, this is the emotional anchor of the book for so many people. It proves this isn't just about cash.
So Blair was born without ears. Physically, he had no ears. And the doctors told Hill that his son would be deaf and mute for his entire life.
A devastating prognosis.
Yeah.
I mean, most parents would just accept that medical reality and try to make the best of it.
But Hill applied this principle of burning desire. He refused to accept the reality the doctors presented.
He just wouldn't. He had this burning desire that his son would hear and speak. He willed it.
And he didn't just hope, right? He acted on it constantly.
He treated the boy as if he could hear. He poured that belief into him. And the story goes that over time, Blair actually developed a type of hearing, mostly through bone conduction, and learned to speak fluently.
Which Hill attributes to that miracle of burning desire.
That refusal to give up.
It sounds impossible, but it illustrates that a burning desire isn't just about altering your bank balance. It's about altering the trajectory of your reality.
That is powerful stuff. You have to want it so badly that you don't accept no from the universe. You are overriding the default setting of your life.
Okay, so you have the desire, you're fired up, you're reading your statement twice a day. But you can't just wish things into existence.
No, you need the tools.
Which brings us to step 2, specialized knowledge.
This is where we have to unlearn some things. We are conditioned by society to believe that once you finish school or college, you're educated.
Yeah, I did my time, now give me the job.
Exactly. The source material challenges that head on. It says successful people never stop learning. But there's a huge difference between general knowledge and specialized knowledge.
General knowledge is what everyone has. It's the baseline.
Right. General knowledge is history, basic math, knowing the capital of France. It's great for cocktail parties, but it rarely builds wealth. Specialized knowledge is what makes you an expert. It is what makes you the person people come to for specific answers. R.J. Kartik uses Thomas Edison as an example again here.
Yeah.
Did you know Edison only had about 3 months of formal schooling?
That is wild to think about. The guy who basically invented the 20th century was a dropout.
By academic standards, he was uneducated. But he didn't rely on general schooling. He acquired massive amounts of specialized knowledge in electromagnetism and product development.
He knew things that literally no one else knew.
Exactly. And the source also mentions Sachin Tendulkar to bring it to a more modern context, the cricket legend.
Right, not highly educated in the formal academic sense. You wouldn't hire him to do your accounting.
No, but he possesses absolute mastery specialized knowledge in cricket. And that is what created his success.
So the actionable advice here isn't go back to university to get another generic degree?
No, it's about becoming a heat-seeking missile for information in your niche. Seminars, expert videos, books, finding mentors. The source emphasizes that knowledge is unlimited and it's all around us.
You just have to be willing to grab it.
And if you rely on what you learned 10 years ago, you're already behind. The world just moves too fast.
So you need to be a continuous learning machine in your specific field. Okay, so we have the desire, we have the knowledge. Now we need to put it together. Step 3 covers imagination and organized planning.
These two go hand in hand. Imagination is the spark. The source briefly touches on the law of attraction here. If you can visualize it, you can attract it.
But, and this is a big but, imagination without planning is just daydreaming?
Totally.
What?
We all know that idea guy who has $1 million billion ideas but is still broke.
Right. The source stresses organized planning. It's not just scribbling on a napkin.
And there's a great tactic mentioned here called the pitch test.
Oh, I love this. It's so practical and honestly a little terrifying.
It is. The idea is before you launch an idea, say a startup or a new project, don't just keep it in your head. Pitch it to your friends and family.
But don't just look for compliments.
No, yeah, don't look for the, oh, that's nice, honey. Exactly. You want them to cross-question you. You want them to poke holes in it.
How will you make money? What if the supplier quits?
All of that.
Yeah.
You need to identify the weak spots before you go out into the real world. Listen to their questions. That's how you organize your plan.
It's like stress testing your idea in a safe environment. You're debugging the plan.
Precisely. And once the plan is set, there's another concept the source brings up. Burn the bridges.
This sounds dramatic.
It is meant to be. It refers to commanders in history who would land their troops on enemy shores and then burn their own ships.
So it meant cutting off all paths of retreat.
Yes. The soldiers knew they couldn't go home unless they won.
If you have a plan B, you might not fight hard enough for plan A.
It's human nature to take the path of least resistance. Success often comes when you have absolutely no option but to move forward.
That makes sense. It forces you to be resourceful.
And Hill adds, the direction matters. You can work hard, but if you're planning your direction is wrong, you're just running really fast toward a cliff. Organized planning ensures you're running toward the goal.
Okay, so you're running toward the goal, but the road is bumpy, you're going to get tired, you're going to want to quit. This is where step 4 comes in, persistence.
Or as the source calls it, the power of devotion. This is often the filter that separates the successful from the dreamers.
Yeah.
The source uses a brilliant analogy here. It says, just as carbon is the basic element of steel, persistence is the basic element of success.
That's a strong image. Without carbon, iron is brittle. It just breaks. You can't have steel without carbon.
And you can't have success without persistence. But we all know people who struggle with this. They get distracted. They start a gym routine and quit in 2 weeks.
They start a business and quit when the first client says no.
Right. So the source outlines 4 methods to build persistence. It's like a checklist for your willpower.
Let's go through them, because I think we could all use a bit more grit.
Number 1, have a fixed goal. We're back to that burning desire. If the goal is vague, you'll quit when it gets hard.
Okay.
Number 2, have a good plan. If you don't know the next step, you'll stall. Number 3, maintain a positive mind. You have to believe it's possible.
And number 4, this one's big.
Number 4 is the mastermind, or in the source's language, the Sangat, which means the company you keep.
This is the you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with concept.
Exactly. The source gives a very stern warning here. If you hang out with distracted people, people who don't have goals, people who just want to complain, you will fail.
It's almost inevitable.
It is. Their gravity will pull you down.
Yeah.
You need a group, a mastermind that shares your focus and determination. They keep you on track when you want to drift off.
It's peer pressure, but used for good.
That is a great way to put it.
Yeah.
Positive peer pressure.
Yeah.
You want to be the person in the group who is scrambling to keep up, not the one dragging everyone else down.
Okay, we are moving up the ladder. We have desire, knowledge, planning, persistence. Step 5 is interesting because it gets into biology a little bit. It's called fresh brain.
Yes. R.J. Kartik points out that the brain is the main differentiator between humans and animals. It's our superpower. But, like any muscle, it needs exercise.
I love the analogy here. If you want to build the body, lift dumbbells. If you want to build the brain, lift books.
It is simple but true. A fresh brain is one that is constantly being fed new information. Fresh ideas don't come from a stagnant mind. They come from a brain that is active, processing, and learning.
So if you're watching mind-numbing TV all day, your brain is atrophying.
It is. But if you're reading, listening to deep dives like this, debating ideas, you're building the muscle that generates wealth.
You have to feed the machine. And that leads us to the final step we're covering today. In the book, it's actually step 13. It's the top of the ladder.
The sixth sense. This is where things get a little metaphysical, but also deeply practical. The source describes this as the place where there is no crowd.
The top of the pyramid.
The sixth sense is essentially your subconscious. It's your instinct, your gut feeling.
But isn't that just guessing? I feel like trust your gut is advice that leads a lot of people to lose money at the casino.
That's a valid skepticism.
Yeah.
But the source argues it's not guessing if, and this is a huge if, you've done the work of the previous steps.
Ah, okay.
Think about it. Sometimes you have all the data, the spreadsheets, the charts, the analysis, and yet financial advisors still lose money Businesses with perfect data still fail.
True. Data looks backward, not forward.
Exactly. The sixth sense is that factor that goes beyond the data. It's the feeling that says, do this or don't do that, even when the logic isn't immediately obvious.
So it's your brain processing millions of micro cues that your conscious mind misses. It's like high-speed data processing.
Yes, it's pattern recognition.
So how do you get this sixth sense? Is it just luck?
No, you have to develop it. The source suggests analyzing your past. Look at moments where your gut was right. What did it feel like? How did it speak to you?
So you learn to recognize the signal.
Right. It requires practice to distinguish between fear and actual instinct. But when you combine all the previous steps, the specialized knowledge, the persistence, the planning, your subconscious starts to process information faster than your conscious mind can. That is the gut feeling.
It's your brain connecting dots you haven't even consciously seen yet.
That's it. It's not magic, it's mastery.
That's a really cool way to look at it.
And that's why it's the final step.
Yeah.
You can't rely on your gut if you're an amateur. You need the raw material, the knowledge, and the desire for the sixth sense to work with.
So what does this all mean for us? We've walked through this journey from a simple wish to a burning desire, through planning and persistence, all the way to this intuitive sixth sense.
I think the biggest takeaway here is that wealth, whether that's money, happiness, or impact, is a process. It is not a lottery ticket.
Right.
Napoleon Hill, and by extension, R.J. Kartik, are telling us that we have more control than we think.
It's empowering, really. It takes the luck out of the equation and replaces it with discipline.
It does. And it circles back to what we said in the intro. Money isn't the end goal. It's a tool. The real secret is the person you become in the process of acquiring it.
You become someone with focus, with knowledge, with persistence, and someone who can help others.
Exactly. That's the ultimate utility of wealth.
So here's a thought to leave you with. The source ends with this sentiment, and I think it's perfect. Knowledge is unlimited. It's surrounding us right now.
It really is.
It's in books, podcasts, conversations. The only question is, are you willing to reach out and grab it?
And are you willing to do the work to transform that knowledge into reality?
That is the question. We hope this deep dive helped light a little bit of that burning desire in you. Maybe go write down that goal today. Put a date on it.
Find your desire, make your plan, and don't stop.
Thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next deep dive.